It's Ferrari versus McLaren in the World Championship. Hi, Matt Koch from Speed Cafe, previewing this weekend's Formula One Sao Paulo Grand Prix, powered by Ford F-150. 4 races to go, and we have a proper championship fight. Ferrari versus McLaren. Not too many points between them, just 27 points with those 4 races to go. It is anyone's game in the run home to Abu Dhabi, and that's built on the success that Ferrari's had in the recent 2 races. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz have both tasted victory. Carlos Sainz last weekend in Mexico City, and that's really transformed Ferrari's season. It's leapt them from 3rd to 2nd in the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull Racing, having gone from dominating that competition in the early stages of the 2024 season, they're languishing in 3rd and looks at best as though that's where they're going to finish, mostly because they're fighting with one arm behind their back, courtesy of Sergio Perez. But we'll get on to him because really it is all about McLaren at the moment. Lando Norris is closing in on the Drivers' Championship. Max Verstappen does still have a handy advantage there. It's 47 points with just 4 rounds remaining, but another weekend or two like he's had in Mexico, and that could very easily change. And what's more, Max Verstappen carries a grid penalty this weekend's race. Not in the sprint, it is a sprint format weekend, so we'll go free practice 1 into sprint shootout or qualifying, into the sprint on Saturday morning, then normal qualifying and the race on Sunday. And it's in that race that Max Verstappen will have a grid penalty. We don't know precisely what that will be yet, but it is for a power unit, and you would imagine that Red Bull will take a whole suite of elements for Max Verstappen. So he'll probably start rear of grid. Overtaking in Interlagos is possible. We've seen it done before. Lewis Hamilton arguably had the drive of his career coming through the field a few years ago. So that's one to watch for, but the Red Bull doesn't have that sort of pace that Mercedes did when Lewis Hamilton was at the wheel back in, 2021. So look for him to come through into the points, perhaps, but can he get onto the podium? That's the big ask, and that's where Lando Norris realistically needs to finish. If Lando Norris isn't finishing on the podium, and realistically 1st or 2nd, it's not good enough. It's got to that point now for Lando Norris. He needs to be winning races, and if he can't win, he needs to finish 2nd and hope something really untoward happens to Max Verstappen. And the odds are just ever so slightly more in his favour this weekend. As far as Ferrari go, well, on the evidence of the last 2 races, we should expect big things from them. And last year, they were the most competitive team after Red Bull Racing. So watch for Carlos Sainz, watch for Charles Leclerc. They should be competitive, all going to plan. And if they are, then wow, have we got a bonza finale to the season coming up, because we've got Las Vegas and then Qatar and Abu Dhabi to follow this. We do have a couple of week break following this weekend's race. And then Red Bull, it's a defensive game that they're having to play this weekend with Max Verstappen. He does have the points in the bag, courtesy of that strong start to the year, but he is just gradually piecing them away to Lando Norris. So he needs to do what he can, basically, to get back into the points and salvage as much as he possibly can. Sacrifice Sergio Perez if they need to, because Sergio Perez doesn't matter anymore. His contribution to the Constructors' Championship is inconsequential. The Drivers' Championship is all that team has got left to hope for, because Sergio Perez hasn't been contributing all season long. And when you contrast that to McLaren and Ferrari, where they've got both drivers scoring good points, it's just almost an impossible ask for Red Bull to recover at this point. And that heaps pressure on Sergio Perez. There is a school of thought that this could be his last Grand Prix. There's suggestions that Liam Lawson could find his way into that car for the Las Vegas Grand Prix in the final 3 races of the year, ahead of being in that car and being with Max Verstappen throughout 2025, which raises another question. Who do you put in the RB? Early money would be someone like Isaac Hadjar. He's their Formula 2 junior, and he's doing good things there. But that, of course, assumes that Sergio Perez doesn't resurrect his season with a bonza weekend this weekend. It seems a big ask. He just hasn't been on form. Everything seems to be pointing the way it did with Daniel Ricciardo. There's even suggestions Daniel Ricciardo could come back for the final 3 races for Red Bull. That goes to show how bad it has got for Sergio Perez when they're willing to bring back Daniel Ricciardo for what will be the 2nd time, given the berth that he had at RB last year. So that's what we've got to look forward to. Another big weekend of Formula One action, a championship fight, 2 of them really, although the Constructors' Championship's far more likely than the Drivers. But it's all to play for. Max Verstappen hasn't got it wrapped up just yet. And watch for Liam Lawson. Is he the next man to sit alongside Max Verstappen at Red Bull? Stay tuned. We are in Sao Paulo in Brazil, so it's a little bit offset. The race does happen on Monday morning in the wee hours there, as it does the weekend. We're a day offset, so Friday turns into Saturday morning for us in Australia, as does Sunday with qualifying that actually take place Sunday morning rather than Saturday afternoon. So do check your guides. The times are a little bit funny, but keep an eye on Speed Cafe for all the F1 news across the weekend.
America's favourite truck is here. The Ford F-150. Go big.